So let's move on to the topic 2. That's about levels of worker, participation in management. What are the different level in which organization can give them a window of opportunity so that workers can participate very well. If you look into it, Japanese-based organizations effectively do this levels of workers in participation management. They will identify the right kind of an employee, and accordingly, they will try to provide different kind of levels in which the worker can participate in the decision making process. So in general, if you look into it, there are nearly about 8 different levels of a participation can be invited from the employee side. The first part is about collective bargaining. The collective bargaining, the name itself implies, we'll be covering that in detail in the coming slides. So it's in a nutshell, collective bargaining is nothing but through probably consultation openly with all the employees in a collective manner, try to probably collect lot of details and inputs regarding the decision making. So that's your collective bargaining. The second thing is a work committee. We try to form a work committee pertaining to that particular functional area. The working committee will be responsible and they will take the ownership of the entire activity. Through that, you can able to make them participate. And third one is your shop or a department council. We try to form a council. Through that you look at it. And the next one is joint council. Joint council is nothing but you try to probably part of an employee top management, employer top management, as well as employee all levels. You try to form a kind of an team. And through that particular team, you try to probably resolve or probably do a brainstorming and come out with a kind of a decision making. And the board representation is you try to form a separate board consist of different horizontal departments and all vertical different level. You try to form a board. The board will actually try to convince or probably they try to take the right kind of a decision making. So that's your board representations. And the next one is the workers ownership of enterprise, where workers will be given a complete kind of freedom where they can able to influence or take a decision making. And the next one is your quality circle. Within the department itself, you can form all the key employees as part of an quality circle. One small kind of a steering committee can be formed, and that steering committee will be consulted before any kind of a decision making has been taken, because those kind of a key employees can contribute better for the organization's requirement. And the last one is a Kaizen method. So this is a Japanese kind of a technology where continuous kind of an improvement has been provided by making the employee as a champion of that particular process. And you try to build a very good relationship with the employee and employee. Every functional area, there will be a champion employees will be identified, and the champion employee will be driving the entire decision making and implementation part of it. And that's the way actually continuous improvement can be possible by bringing in a lot of innovation and creativity, and those are the kind of areas. Now let's look at the 3-4 levels of participation in detail. So let's look at what is collective bargaining is all about. So Indian Institute of Labor Organization is defining that collective bargaining is nothing but negotiation about the working condition and terms of an employee between an employer and a group of employees, one or more employee or organization, with a view to probably reaching an agreement where the terms serve as a code of defining the rights and obligation of each party in their employment industrial relation with one another. That means, in a simple sentence, about the working conditions and what is the kind of discipline is expected, and what is the kind of terms and conditions are applied in an economic probably the working area. So all this thing you try to define it by arriving at a kind of an agreement. That's what exactly collective bargaining is all about. So second kind of method is your work committee. Work committee is nothing but in order to avoid any kind of a dispute. So under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, every organization employing 100 or more workers is required to constitute a working committee, works committee. So work committee actually it consists of equal number of representation from the employer and employee side. So the basic purpose of this committee is to basically provide measure of securing and preserving amid what you call it as your complete kind of a good relations and good kind of an relationship you maintain between the employer and the employees, and that's the way it's right to probably look into it. It's a kind of an harmonious relationship they are looking at, and the purpose is to promote good industrial relations, and representative of employees will be selected by secret ballot method. So through the secret ballot method, the entire representative of employees will be selected, and this work committee actually act as a kind of a parallel committee in addition to the functional area, where in order to maintain a very good relationship, what are the ways actually we can bring about results. So that's what exactly work committee talks about. And the next one is the Shop and Departmental Council. Shop and Departmental Council, the Government of India on the 30th of October 1975 announced a new scheme called Worker Participation and Management. In every industrial establishment employing 500 or more workmen, the employee shall constitute a shop council. That's an idea behind it. It's same like your labor officer, but labor officer is a single kind of person, but whereas a shop council or a departmental council is your huge kind of people where represent each department or a shop in a unit. So each shop council consists of an equal number of representatives from employer as well as employees. So it's also act like your working committee, but this has got more legal and veto powers. So that's the way actually shop or departmental council is much more enhanced, better than your other steering committee and all. Let's look at what are the prerequisites for successful participation. Any kind of a successful participation, you need to have a strong and democratic kind of an union, and a mutually agreed objective which should be clearly defined, and it should be complementary to each other, and they should feel that participation happening at all levels, and ultimately the attitude from both the end, both from employer as well as employee side, there should be a very, very favorable kind of an attitude, and we need to probably train all the participants very well so that they will understand that what are the purpose of this particular worker participation management and all the steering committees and other things and all, and ultimately prompt kind of an actions and feedback has to be provided so that both the parties knows where they are going wrong.